Okay, and then this is the next lesson kind of on our first standard in the second semester. Okay, you've never seen this before. Okay. We have 4 times x to the 2/3 power equals 64. Now, what the heck does a fraction power mean? I'll explain that momentarily. Okay. Now, here's what you need to do. I will explain what the fraction power actually means here in a bit. Okay, on a piece of scratch paper. So you need to solve for x. So now in this standard, you want to look at x and then what power. So it's to the 2/3 power, and that's really the only power your x is to. So we can use isolation method. We don't have to factor. Now, but as we said, when x is to only one single power, okay, and 2/3 is only one power. I know there's 2 numbers, but 2/3 is one value. It's a fraction. There's either 1 or 2 answers. And when you have a fraction, it's determined by the top value. That's even, so there's 2 answers, the positive and the negative. Okay, so let's just pretend that was a normal power. Well, first, before I took care of the power, I would divide by 4. And 64 divided by 4 is 16. So we have x to the power of 2/3 equals 16. Now here's what the 2/3 power actually means. It means there's a number x, and the 3 on the bottom means if you took the cubed root out of it, and then whatever that was, you know how like the cubed root of 8 is 2, okay? For example, 8's not the answer. And then whatever that was, you took it to the second power, it would have to equal 16, okay? That's what that really means. Means if you took the cubed root of a number x, what times what's x, and then whatever that is, took it times itself, it has to equal 16. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. They're like, how in the heck would you figure that out? Fortunately for us, we have what's called the reciprocation method, okay? What we can do to eliminate a fractional power is take both sides to the power of the reciprocal. So 2/3, the reciprocal is 3/2. You just flip the power, okay? Because here's what happens. That's a power to a power. If I take 2/3 times 3/2, that's 1. So it's x to the first, which is just x, okay? Now, you can use your calculator. Now I'll explain what it means, though. It means you have 16 in a square root, and whatever that is goes to the 3rd power. So it's really 4, because the square root of 16 is 4 to the 3rd. But you can find that on your calculator. 16, hit your power key, 3, ABC 2, 64, okay? But it could be positive or negative. That's why it's very important to set up how many solutions you have based on the top, okay? Because the square root of 16 can be 4, it could be negative 4. If I take 4 to the 3rd, that's positive 64. If I take negative 4 to the 3rd, that's negative 64. The work you do on this is pretty minimal. It's just kind of hard to understand, okay? Okay, we have x to the power of 3/4 that is the only x I have. So there's either one solution or 2. Now on top now we have an odd exponent, so there's only one, the positive that I come up with. Okay, so there's the x. I need to undo the plus 3 by minusing 3, so that's x to the 3/4 power equals 14. Okay, then we take both sides to the power of the reciprocal, so 4/3, 4/3, okay? By the way, again, because 3/4 times 4/3, it's a power to a power, is 1. Whenever you multiply 2 reciprocals, the product's 1. Okay, now remember what this actually means. It means 14 is in a root. It's a cubed root, and then it's raised to the power of 4, okay? Remember on that one sheet, cubed roots can be only the positive, okay? They're not positive, negative. That's why you can determine when you first look at the problem. That's actually going to be the root you use because you're going to end up flipping that. Okay, so on the paper, I'm going to take 14, raise 14 to the power of 4/3. and I get an irrational number, and that's okay, 33.74. Just round it. I'm fine with approximations when you're doing this. Okay, I want the answers. If it doesn't turn out perfect like that did, just write the decimal. Okay, don't worry about simplifying it completely. Okay, next one. We have x to the power of 4, 5, and that's the only one you have, but 4 is the actual power, okay? So that's even, so there's going to be two answers, the positive and the negative of whatever I come up with. So again, first before I worry about the power, a lot of people go after the power right away. They jump the gun. No, you have to undo the multiplying of 3 first, okay? The power is always the last thing you undo, okay? That's 27. So remember what that actually means. It means what number that if you take the 5th root of it and then raise it to the whatever that is to the 4th power, what would equal 27? Well, I'm never going to be able to figure that out. I'm just going to do the power of the reciprocal. 5, 4, 5, 4. The first one, it could be done probably, but probably better just go. So 27 to the 5/4 power. You can just calculate that. This crap I'm doing on the orange paper, you don't need to do. Okay, it's just an illustration of what is actually taking place. Okay, so 4 is the numerator. That's a 4th root, and you're going to take whatever that is to the 5th power. But the calculator does that for you. 27 to the power of 5/4 is 61.55. But you could also have the negative. Okay. All right, next one, we have 2 times x to the power of 3/5 minus 4 equals 84. So what do we have here for x? We have x to the 3/5 only. So it's actually a 3rd power with a 5th root is what that means, okay? Okay, it's odd, so there's only the positive answer. So we undo the minus 4. We have to undo minus 4 and undo multiplication of 2 before I worry about the power, okay? A lot of people see that power there. They want to get rid of that right away. No. Okay, 84, then divide by 2. X to the 3/5 power equals 42. And then we just find the power of the reciprocal. So 5/3, because we know 3/5 times 5/3 is 1. Okay. So again, what we're doing is basically taking 42, and you can think of it in either way. 42 to the 5th power, and then the cubed root of whatever that is, or the cubed root of 42, and whatever that is to the 5th power. It doesn't really matter. Okay, I get 507.48. You're going to get a bunch of goofy looking answers here. You can't second guess them because I just wrote these from my head. Okay. Now you're making an approximation, so if you plug those in, it won't be exact. Now you see what I'm doing. Do 1 through 4 real quick. Okay. Pause the video and then I'll teach you how to do the ones in parentheses. Remember, the power's the last thing you do. All right, now that you got that figured out, we're solving these. What do we have for x? Well, the fact it's in parentheses, and outside the parentheses, we have a power of 2/3. So 2's even, okay? So that means there's 2 answers, and we are going to be using our q, okay? So q to the 2/3 power plus 7 equals 21. Now, then I know I need to bring my table back in so I can bring back the x plus 5. And there's 2 answers, so I need 2 sides, both of them. Okay? So now I solve for q. Remember, the power's the last thing you go after. You have to minus 7 first. Q to the 2/3 power equals 14. You don't need to divide because I don't have a number in front. Okay, I can go after the power. I can just take both sides to the 3/2 power. Okay, now remember what that means. It means 14 to the 3rd power and then the square root of whatever that is, or you could think of it as the square root of 14, whatever that is, to the 3rd power. In any event, you can hit power 3 ABC2. Okay, so 52.38. Now remember, there's two sides, so that means I can do positive 52.38 or negative 52.38. Then I subtract 5, that takes it to 47.38. And then minus 5, and that takes us to negative 57.38. Okay, and then my last one I will be going over. What do we have going on with x? Well, it's to a power, but there's a plus 4 in the power, and it's 3/4. Okay, so that means we're going to be using q. Now, you have to decide how many answers you have. You have a 3 up top there. That's odd. There will only be one answer to this problem. So I go to my q, 3q to the 3/4 power plus 3 equals 84. But when I make my table, I'm going to write no right here because there's only one answer. Okay, I will not be doing the negative. Again, you can always tell how many answers there are by the top number of the fraction before you start the problem. So yeah, here there's a 2. That's even, so I knew there were 2 solutions to be found, positive and the negative. Here it's odd. There's only one solution to be found. I will only be doing the positive side. So I undo plus 3, so that's 81. Now don't go after the 3/4 power yet. You need to undo the multiplication of 3. That takes me to 27. And then the power is the last thing I do. So I reciprocate that, and it's 4/3. Okay, 3/4 times 4/3 is 1, so that would be q. And then the cubed root of, by the way, this one you could maybe do without a calculator. You can use a calculator, definitely. But the cubed root of 27 is a perfect number. It's 3. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. So we'd be at 3 to the 4th power is 81. Or you can take 27 to the 4th, which is a huge number, and then the cubed root of that. So 27 power 4 ABC3. I got 81. But remember, we're only doing 81. Okay? I put no because there's one answer. X plus 4 minus 4 minus 4, I get 77. Okay, you get really goofy looking answers here. Just trust the process.